There was a major title change on last night's AEW Dynamite, plus there were debuts and returns on last night's Dynamite too. And Tony Khan confirms the biggest show in AEW history. It's all in the wrestling news right now. The top guys are top guys once again, Andrew.
They certainly are. After much speculation running rife around the internet community, the internet wrestling community, wondering where they might go, they are firmly staying within AEW. So on AEW last night on Dynamite, FTR defeated the Guns to begin their second reign as AEW World Tag Team Champions. This confirms that FTR plan to stay in AEW, removing all doubt about speculation their contracts would expire and they take a semi-sabbatical, because we know they were talking about wanting to perhaps go on the indies and do little bits there as well. The Guns, in the match, the Guns attempted to use the title belts to get a cheap win over Dax. I think Dax was he was up on the old top rope. That's the one I'm looking for. Went to go for a dive and then got clocked in the head with a belt, but to no avail, as Dax and Cash picked up the well-received Uno Dos Tres with a stereo sunset flip, and then they both get count 1, 2, 3. Both get the pin. It's delightful.
Well received for FTR. Loads of conversations say around them, and this confirms that their future is AEW and as World Tag Team Champions. Where do we go from here? I think FTR and the Acclaimed.
I think so too.
That needs to happen.
It does feel like it's probably going to come back around to that. I think FTR should have a nice lengthy reign once again, and then finally, put the Acclaim boys over again and have a nice little moment.
It was an action-packed night of AEW, lots of moving and shaking from the moment that the show began. We had Ricky Starks make his way to the ring, was distracted by the music of Switchblade Jay White.
He is AEW bound.
He is. He's not even bound. He has set ashore.
He has.
He has cast his anchor into the bay. Yeah. Jay White and Juice Robinson beat up Ricky Starks to open the show. Shortly after that, Tony Khan confirming that Switchblade is all elite. This comes after a week where the name Jay White has trended on social media multiple times, many believing that he was bound for WWE. It was just only yesterday, that all of those rumors and innuendos regarding a Switchblade WWE run were effectively quashed. And this does feel like, as exciting as it would have been to see Jay White do his thing in WWE, this does feel like a better fit.
Yeah, I think obviously with Juice Robinson, the Bullet Club stuff looked like they had a little bit of a reunion, throwing up the gun signs and everything. And also, obviously, unfortunately, what happened to Adam Cole at Forbidden Door, they could play into that somehow too, and go down the line of that. So yeah, I think there's plenty to be had with Jay White within AEW. Feels like, as you were saying, the right fit for him, I think, at least anyway.
A potential new fit for a returning face to AEW. Who are we talking about?
We are talking about Christian Cage and another certain Lizard Boy. So we saw Christian Cage in a brief vignette on Dynamite last night, but he wasn't alone. He was flanked by what appeared to be a new look Luchosaurus. Luchamanda.
It's an evolution.
It is an evolution. It's a Lucholution. That works. New ring attire and a new creepy mask. He came out, it was like all red backstage. We saw Christian Cage woke up, he turned around to look at the camera, and out comes Luchosaurus in this new garb. Yeah, this new red mask, this new sort of arm shoulder fitting as well, which looks really cool. However, when this got posted to social media, AEW's Twitter captions it as who has Christian brought with him? Suggesting that this could be a complete gimmick overhaul for Luchosaurus, who last competed in a losing effort to Jungle Boy Jack Perry at Full Gear.
So Luchosaurus back, but it could be under a brand new persona. Do you think that the Luchosaurus thing ran its course, or do you think there was more in the tank there?
I'm not sure. I think for him perhaps going to be a major monster heel, Luchosaurus doesn't necessarily feel like a heel sort of name.
So you need something that's maybe got a little more gravitas.
Yeah, I think so. And perhaps the sort of we heard the stories about maybe the copyright issues and the licensing issues for the mask and everything like that.
Yeah, I hadn't even thought of that.
So I wonder if that is also playing into this, and things have had to have been changed for that too, maybe.
So this might have, a number of reasons might have instigated a brand new look for Luchosaurus and a brand new name potentially.
Looking forward to seeing what it's all about, though.
Yeah, I'll tell you what this is all about. Another debut for AEW. So after his dulcet tones returned to our ears via ROH Supercard of Honor, Nigel McGinnis is now All Elite. He joins Jay White as new signings for AEW last night. McGinnis, it was announced just a few hours before the show went live that Nigel McGinnis had signed with AEW. I would assume whilst he signed to AEW, I'd put him on commentary for Ring of Honor.
I think they did mention commentary, a new part of the commentary team. I believe they said Nigel McGinnis. I also thought, again, a bit of fantasy booking, as I like to always do on the news videos. Something to do with the Blackpool Combat Club, maybe?
Ooh.
Do you think? I know he's not necessarily from Blackpool, but I mean, maybe get in the weeds of that a little bit. We were talking about all this stuff like when he was about to make a major announcement, we were sort of being like, maybe he will do some sort of managerial role somewhere down the line. Can you see him fitting in with that, maybe?
I mean, if they wanted to find someone to sort of supplant the William Regal role in the Blackpool Combat Club and kind of bring them to heel, maybe Nigel McGinnis could do that.
Yeah.
Because the more you look at the sort of the bigger picture of the Blackpool Combat Club story, it's like the moment that Regal turned their back on them, the moment Regal went, like they're kind of without a leader, without like a figurehead. So
Yeah.
they have just been running roughshod.
Yeah, definitely.
So maybe if they ever wanted to make them sort of good guys again, maybe someone like Nigel McGinnis, bring them to heel.
Yeah, for sure.
Maybe.
It's nice to see Nigel back, though. Absolutely.
It really is.
Like, one of my favourite commentators, and I'm glad that he's back on screens once again.
But he was back for a particular reason on this very evening. Nigel McGinnis, alongside Tony Khan and Adam Cole, baby, made an announcement about the biggest AEW show in AEW history, confirming that they will finally make their long-awaited debut in the United Kingdom, and they are doing it in style. August 27th, AEW All In from Wembley Stadium. Not Wembley Arena, Wembley Stadium.
Huge.
When you say Wembley Stadium, your first thought is SummerSlam 1992.
Yep.
The old Wembley.
Yep.
That whole thing. And there's, we're doing it in August as well, so we're doing it in the summer. There's obvious contrasts to that, and I love it.
It feels almost like, do you remember the narrative of the original All In, where it was like, how can an indie show sell out a 10,000 seat arena?
Yeah.
And now it feels like it's mirroring that in terms of how can the first AEW show in the UK, how can it sell out a stadium that can hold perhaps 100,000 people in it? And it feels very much like the same similar like narrative undercurrent there, and it's really exciting for them. I feel as though they will have some really big surprises. I know a lot of people have been saying and speculating online that if you sort of announce a show of this size, perhaps they know that a certain somebody could be returning to the company to help sell that many seats.
We're putting that out there as speculation.
Yeah, absolutely.
And just some of the scuttlebutt that we've heard online, we're certainly not reporting that as anything other than just a bit of scuttlebutt online. But you would think that if you were at a point to announce this show, you'd have something big planned. You have something big in the back pocket for it, wouldn't you? Because it's 80,000 people. It's an 80,000 seater stadium. It's going to be a massive, massive time for AEW. A busy time as well, because in the span of a couple of weeks, they've got... Now, this is the thing as well. I want to mention this, because on the press release, they talk about AEW All In, and they talk about it's the largest event in the company history. They don't specify that it's a pay-per-view, and they don't specify that it's a TV event.
Yeah.
So, and in and around that same time, I believe they've got Dynamite Grand Slam, and they've got All Out.
Yes.
All Out during Memorial Weekend.
Yeah.
So there's a lot going on for them that weekend. It could just be like the biggest house show event they've ever done. I think they'd be foolish to not take advantage of this incredible setting
Yeah.
and make it into a pay-per-view event of some sort?
I think they will. I feel like it would be a waste if it was just a house show that wasn't taped and turned into a humongous spectacle. I think you've got to tape that and have that in your annals of history forever. Like, it's going to be an incredible moment, and I'm really excited to see how everything shapes up.
See you in August, my old China. We'll have more wrestling news as well. London, innit? I'm from London.
Push your pages there.
Don't talk to me on the tube. Remortgage for a pint. More wrestling news throughout the day at cultaholic.com. Keys.
Love you, bye.
Apples and pears.